Greetings, I am Solidus-Skully, and welcome to the final part of the Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal commentary. Took me long enough to finally say the name as it probably is, but don't worry, we got there in the end, and thankfully Michael Jackson's not around. Why was I thinking of that old Newgrounds song? Look at that awesome paint decal on the ship. Yeah, that's basically what you get for getting a majority of the skill points. I believe the highest rank you get is for the Insomniac Moon craft that you get after getting all 30 skill points, but yeah, welcome to Planet Mylon, the final level of the game, and holy fuck, I love the lighting here, the atmosphere is unparalleled, and again, while Ratchet and Clank 3's story isn't the most, intense or grim, this level certainly does a good job in picking up the slack, and as for the soundtrack, again, it's one you hear in multiplayer, all the fucking time, but at the same time, though, this level, again, it perfectly encapsulates the whole idea of, again, they're pulling out all the stops, and I quite literally mean that, because you're gonna be, as is Ratchet and Clank tradition, using all the gadgets to get past, some stuff here, and as you can tell, yeah, many deaths were had, we did some dancing, we did some dying, we did some fine dining in the hell, and, yeah, that's basically the last part where you use the Tyrannoid, the Tyra guys, really. And again, they actually end up suspecting Ratchet because they say something like, but you're made of flesh, even though we used to be made of flesh, so we don't trust you anymore. Again, it's basically a going back and forth, and the only way you tend to bribe the Tyrannoids in their robot forms is to give them your DVD copy of Amoeboids Gone Wild. Yes, you won't believe what those slimy co-eds do when the cameras are rolling. Also, weirdly enough, this is also the place where you end up finding the Lawrence trophy, which is kind of weird. You would have thought they would have put the Dr. Nefarious trophy here, but no, instead they, that was in Planet Zeldrin, I believe. But again, actually the early parts of Planet Mylon is actually rather small, actually. It's, again, you're basically just making your way to the Bio-Obliterator using all the gadgets you have acquired up in the game. You're going to be using the Hacker, you're going to be using the Refractor, the Tyra guys, pretty much everything, really. I think the only gadget you don't use is the Warp Pad, and even then, I get the impression they probably had to change a lot of that at the last minute, so yeah, who knows, really. But that being said, though, this is still a really great final level, and, one that just gets me smiling. And of course, the power of the Flux Rifle is not to be doubted. If you dare doubt the power of the Flux Rifle, then you can flux right off. But yeah, few things will stand in our way this time. But what is this? The puzzles aren't always solved for you. But again, I suppose that is one of the few saving graces. If you do stuff like the Tyra guys thing, or the Trespasser... No, not the Trespasser, the Hacker thing, the doors will stay open, but alas, the Refractor is a physical thing, and thus must be given the countenance for. Though, something or other. But again, as short as this segment is, you're just gonna be keeping at it, really. There's just not much else to really say about the level, really. It's just... It's short, sweet, but, again, encapsulates everything climatic about it. And just look at that lighting. I know a lot of games in the mid-2000s tend to use that whole sort of, soft glow bloom effect kind of lighting, but... Again, if you know how to use it just right, it looks fucking beautiful, especially towards very grim-looking environments. I think Shadow the Hedgehog especially used it to rather great effect in that game, but Ratchet and Clank 3, and look, you can see the Bio-Obliterator just edges away.
We're too late! Get in!
Goddamn Nefarious and his teleporting ways, but yeah, this is pretty much our final ship segment, and actually our final Halo jump segment, actually, as we transfer to the final area of the game. And yeah, it's, final boss time. Or is it? Doo-doo-doo. Well, we'll find out soon.
There it is! Nefarious has already initiated the launch sequence. If that thing gets into space, Veldin won't have a chance.
That's not gonna happen.
Once again, this is pretty much the most amount of missiles you're gonna be facing, so, remember the circular motion technique, and, you'll pretty much be fine. I'm pretty sure you can probably survive all this with the armor you've got, but, don't take chances.
You again? You will pay! pay for your insolence, you miserable rodent. You'll regret...
Sorry, Nefarious. Your flight's been cancelled.
Lawrence! Lawrence? Lawrence!
How can I be of assistance?
Annihilate him!
Just kidding. You've reached my holographic voicemail. Leave your name and a brief message. Ta-ta!
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Well, it seems Lawrence has a life outside of Nefarious, but yeah, the final boss fight against Dr. Nefarious, I'd argue was pretty much up there with some of the best fights in the series. In fact, you know what? I think I'll probably place it second to the one in A Crack in Time, in terms of being the best Ratchet and Clank boss fight. Again, I'll talk about techniques a little bit later, because, yeah, there's more phases to this, and a pretty good one of that, but yeah, to talk about the HD collection once again, the laser effects on Nefarious' attacks have been completely screwed up and look... to be honest, they look downright fucking alpha version, and that probably says a lot about the HD collection. But in the meantime, Nefarious has a shitload of attacks.
I am defeated. I have no choice but to throw myself on your mercy.
Really? I mean, that's right, Nefarious. Your reign of terror is finally...
Sucker!
And now we get to phase 2, where we gotta chase down that Nefarious, and again, the final slog through hell is about to begin, because we're gonna make our way through. And again, you can see throughout this giant wasteland graveyard of techno-organic parts, and again, it looks to be the sort of place where Nefarious, I guess, manufactured Clank, given the giant Clank heads that are littered all over the battlefield. Again, it's a pretty intense kind of place. Again, you've got troops shooting you down, you've got Nefarious taking pot shots at you with his giant fuck-off laser beams, you've got big fuckers blasting their laser beams at you and missile launchers. Again, like, I mean, this is one hell of a final battle, and it's all kissed off with David Bourgeois' excellent final boss music, which, honest to God, I think it might just be the best thing he's ever composed in terms of, final boss pieces. Like, this is intense as fuck, and again, like, the entire way this final boss battle is sequenced, I think is great, because, like, I mean, you're making your way towards the final arena over here. You're being overwhelmed by the odds, but who else is gonna show up? Well, not those guys, I mean, they do show up, but that's just to further elucidate how they overwhelm Ratchet. Yes, yes. But oh no, it seems like we can't take on them all. They're too powerful. How are we gonna be able to survive against them? No hope, Ratchet. We got no hope. We can't take them all on. And I'm running out of words to say. For God's sake, stop pausing. Oh, and by the way, you can also get the PDA from the Thran asteroid belt. There's a secondary pathway where you can go and you can pretty much get them. But what is this? It is the Galactic Rangers. They've finally gotten off their cowardly asses to come help us. I don't know, I mean, I think it's pretty fucking epic. Like your homies, like after you bail them out, they bail you out, and that's what we like to call the character development. And yeah, they will stay on the side of the arena, hopefully taking potshots Nefarious. But yeah, that's also the missile attack that the big fuckers do, the terrible twosome do, and of course Nefarious does. So yeah, the game's been training you all this time to dodge out of the way of these things. But I will say this though, like, I mean, this is one fucking brilliant way to cap off the game. And this is pretty much the final arena. Like, I mean, the amount of attacks Nefarious has, he'll chuck those little bomb things, he'll have his little, like, spread laser thing, he'll have those missiles, and of course, as you probably saw earlier on, he also has his clones that he'll send out at you. First it started as 1, now 2, and again, the way in which Nefarious increases in, well, competence is actually really fucking good. Like, I mean, he will keep you on your toes. Like, I mean, even if you have the powerful weapons, he still isn't anything to scoff at. Like, I mean, even with the Rythrino, like, I mean, you can't exactly just rest on your laurels. You really gotta give him your A-game, man. And of course, that's his big fuck-off laser and the missile launcher things. I suppose I could probably bring up one last piece of trivia while we've still got the game going on, but But initially in A Crack in Time, again, I guess on the off chance that I never get around to, covering A Crack in Time, yeah, Nefarious was initially meant to die for real in that game, but it was only Sony executives who came into the last hour and basically retconned him to being alive, so I guess mainly this was out of Ratchet and Clank 3 being a very popular game sales-wise, so yeah, I think executives for Nefarious' slow descent into mediocrity, I guess. And this is basically his fuck it panic attack, where he launches out a barrage of his clones that just go apeshit. Not just in Realms of 3, but all over the shop as you saw before. The bouncer is actually really useful here, because, it's the bouncer, man. Sion Barzard, you rock on, dude.
Lawrence!
Oh, is this important, sir? It's almost time for my solo.
Begin the transformation!
I call it Base Odyssey.
Now, Lawrence!
If you insist.
What is this? It is Le Captain Quark. He has come to save the day! And yeah, this boss fight is comparatively a lot easier compared to Nefarious, but again, it's meant to be more of like a... Again, kind of similar to the final Mundus boss fight, when you're in the caverns before Dante reaches the biplane in DMC1. Yeah, it's basically more of a kiss-off to, to cap things off on an epic note, where you're taking down the Bio-Obliterator that's transformed into this giant robo-mech of destruction. Again, just sort of dodge out of the way of the lasers. You're not totally screwed if you have the hover ship blow up, because, there's another one laying about, but you also gotta take the turbo slider and get the hell out of dodge from the rockets and shit. Again, I basically just recommend sort of going in like a circular motion to dodge out of the way of the main barrage, but then again, you do occasionally get pot shot damage, but again, shouldn't be too much. Again, to talk about a little bit of more of the boss fight, initially Insomniac did have a little bit more planned, namely in the sense of having Captain Quark actually participate in the fight, but he's pretty much just there to sort of float around, because I think having Quark do anything more would basically make the PS2's processor explode. So yeah, I guess it kind of goes to show the state of the AI back in 2004, really. Or at least what the PlayStation 2 was capable of. Also, the Bio-Obliterator's theme is really fucking epic as well. Not quite as good as Nefarious' one, but again, a bit of a great final note, and it caps the game off real nicely. But again, we've found the last hover ship, so let's take the fight to Nefarious. We gotta win! We will destroy you, you nefarious bastard! Time to die, motherfucker. And boom, that's it. We've beaten the game. See you soon.
Oh, the humiliation! Defeated by squishes! Oh, I'll never live this down!
Warning. Reactor detonation in 60 seconds.
Lawrence, engage the teleporter.
Would you care to specify a destination, sir?
Who cares? Just get us out of here.
Time's up.
What? That wasn't even close to 60 seconds!
Bye-bye.
We're live from the star-studded premiere of the latest Holo film in the Secret Agent Clank series. The atmosphere is positively electric as thousands of fanatical fans clamor for a glimpse of their favorite celebrities.
Agent Clank, it seems your luck has finally run out. The time has come to say goodbye. Your tricks won't do you any good this time, Agent Clank. I have been waiting for this moment a long time, and now I am going to blow you into a million pieces! Get this thing off me!
Well, he got that monkey off his back. Do not even think about it.
Yay, whoopee, woohoo, and because it's a pre-rendered cutscene, Ratchet was wearing his old flight suit. Yeah. But in that case, that was the Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal commentary, and well, we had a few recording snafus, like lowered quality and some choppy frame rates stuttering throughout some of the videos. Yeah, I wanted to show off the PS2 version mainly just because, well, it's a version of the game that I grew up with, it's the version of the game that I think is the way the game's meant to be played, and I mean, really, you know, it's the Ratchet and Clank game that I have the most memories with, and even in spite of some of its faults, I do think the game as a whole really does sort of come together as a very cozy, comfy, and easy to clear package. Like, I mean, in terms of what it cuts out, you know, in terms of the rail grinding, racing missions, and a lot of the side content, again, I don't really find myself missing it all that much. Like, I mean, I think, given the time crunch Insomniac had to deal with, they made the right cuts where they needed to, and overall, when you're just picking up the game to play with it, again, if you're a fan of more of the third-person shooter aspects rather than platforming, you'll probably enjoy this game the most, but if you are someone who preferred a lot of the secondary modes and the extra content of 2, then I can see why you'd probably have a little bit more trouble settling into this one than you would, you know, Ratchet and Clank 3. Which again, I don't think is necessarily a detriment from an objective standpoint towards the game, or, you know, something that's really too much of a benefit. It's really just apples and oranges depending on what you prefer of Ratchet 3 and Ratchet 2. And I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that this game turned out to be as fantastic as it did, I think is a testament to Insomniac's fortitude and all their perseverance to developing good games, so yeah, I mean, if you can find a copy of Ratchet and Clank 2, pick it up, I highly recommend it. In terms of story though, again, I do think it's generally a much punchier script, a little bit more well-written because they did have a dedicated writer on staff this time around. His name was Brad Santos, I think. Yeah, and I think the script is generally funnier than Ratchet and Clank 2. At the same time though, there are still a few holes here and there, namely in the case of why the Tyrannoids were working for Nefarious, the fact that a lot of its subtext and jokes don't think of quite, well, I mean, I think some audiences of today might have a few problems with them, especially if you go back looking at it now compared to 2004. And I mean, on top of that, I guess maybe mishandling some elements, like, I guess maybe giving Quark more of a little bit more of a stronger redemption arc, giving him a reason to come back and reclaim his former glory, or I guess maybe enhancing Clank. Like, I mean, I was actually just thinking about this as I was editing the previous part, but like, I mean, one cool thing you could have done with Clank is maybe have him give Nefarious the position of the Starship Phoenix and have it go under attack, and, you know, maybe have the battle with Clank on the Starship Phoenix throughout the various decks. I don't know, I think it would have been a little bit more climactic than just sort of fighting him on top of, like, 2 bizarre trains in Metropolis. But again, maybe that's just me. I mean, I think the story of Ratchet and Clank 3 is a definite step up over 2's, but again, I do still think it's got some growing pains to go, but hey, the next game absolutely fixes that, and well, when it comes to Ratchet Deadlocked, I'll probably be getting to that at some stage in the next couple of years. Don't know when, but it'll definitely be happening. And since I've already covered Ratchet and Clank 1 and 2 in terms of reviews, I don't really feel the need to cover those either, so yeah, I guess Deadlock will be next, and depending on what I feel like, probably the Crack in Time, actually. So we'll see what comes of that. But again, that's all far off in the future. In terms of anything else, I think Ratchet and Clank 3 does have the best art design the series has ever seen. Well, it's kind of in contention between that and Deadlocked, actually. I've kind of had a toss-up between which I prefer, to be honest, but Ratchet and Clank 3 I think has good art design. The soundtrack is among some of the best in the series. Voice acting is really fucking good. Again, like, I mean, this game is a really cohesive package, and again, like, I mean, it was an absolute joy to commentate over. A few shaky spots here and there, but then again, that's just the way I roll sometimes, but on the whole, I had fun with this game. Like, I'm really happy that I tackled this one. Oh, Barney Zygon, I love you so much. If only we could stay there forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever And never, 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 never. I suppose if I could get into some criticism with the levels, or I guess maybe what this recent viewing has kind of made me realize is that... Actually, you know what, I think I might save that for the Ratchet and Clank 3 review itself. Because, I mean, I think at this point in time, I gotta collect my thoughts a little bit more, but it has opened my eyes to at least see some of the points that a lot of the detractors of Ratchet and Clank 3 were making in terms of the way levels are designed, and basically what the game does to streamline it to a fault. But again, I don't think it's really any harm, no foul, in any case. So I suppose at this point I might as well talk about what we're going to be commentating on next. Well, kind of a toss-up between two games at this point. One thing I can confirm is that we're going to be commentating over Fahrenheit next, or Indigo Prophecy if you live in the US. But yeah, more of a story-based game. I mean, I did mention back when I did Silent Hill Shattered Memories that I wanted to experiment with doing more story-heavy games, so yeah, Fahrenheit is going to be the ultimate test to see whether or not that'll be for the best. But again, if you people aren't interested in any of that because it's a quote-unquote serious, mature, adult, whatever kind of game, then I do have a little something extra. Because running alongside that is going to be Kingdom Hearts, the 2002 original game, so... Again, for those who weren't interested in Chain of Memories, then maybe the main game will serve you well. So, yeah, look forward to that. I probably won't be getting to those until, well, Kingdom Hearts I probably won't be getting to until, June, probably, and, yeah, fuck it, I probably might do Fahrenheit around the same time, depending on how I feel like and what my schedule is free like. But regardless of such, you can probably look forward to those. Yeah, but in the meantime, I've got to get back to recording Doom 3, actually, because I'm long overdue for a session, but I wanted to make sure I got these done, so... Yeah, Ratchet and Clank 3. With a Bio-Obliterator theme to play us out. You do also have a little cutscene at the end, so you're not going to be completely abandoned, but... Yeah, one last thing with Nefarious. So I suppose on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I hope you enjoyed this commentary for all that it was worth, and yeah, be on the lookout for more reviews, Kingdom Hearts, and of course, Fahrenheit/Indigo Prophecy coming up next, so catch you dudes and dudettes later, and I'm gonna go get drunk. See you later.
What do you mean we can't teleport to a planet?
I'm afraid we're well out of range, sir. Perhaps if you had bothered to specify a destination...
When will we be in range?
Oh, I'm sure something will come along in, say, 5 or 10,000 years.
Ah! I don't believe this! Now what?
I don't suppose you can play drums.